Hey, so today I wanted to share with you some of my favorite professional development books that I always revisit during the summer. So the first book I wanted to share is The First Days of School, and this one really changed the way I look at running a classroom. I wish that I had read this before I started my first year of teaching. Unfortunately, I did not. I did not hear about this book until my second year, or the start of my second year, so I read it and it just made a huge difference in the way I set up my classroom, the way I set up my rules and my procedures. And I would suggest to anybody, I don't care really how many years you've been teaching, I feel like this information is so applicable, but I would definitely recommend it to any first year teacher. It is something that I go back to every year right before school starts. I've got all my little tabs marked, I go to them and I rethink about the way I've structured the first couple of days of my classroom. The second book is one that I did a post about called The Literature Circles that I use in my classroom. So I talked about how much I loved this book. It's Mini Lessons for Literature Circles, and this is how I started using literature circles in my classroom. So as you can see, I've got it tagged in pretty much almost every little section. I've used this so much, I go back to it every time I start literature circles over to kind of refresh my memory and use maybe something I didn't use the year before, because there's so many strategies and things you can use in here that it's always good to go back and revisit. So this one is definitely a must if you are wanting to use literature circles in your classroom. The next pick is called The Book Whisperer, and this one is actually a book that I read quite a few years ago, and I tried to implement some of the things that she talks about into my classroom. But 2 years ago, we did this as a book study for our English Language Arts teachers at our school, and we implemented the idea of the 40 book challenge in our whole school, and it has changed everything that we've done in such a positive way. We have so many students who now are interested in reading, and they're wanting to read, they're wanting to ask, for recommendations of books to read. I mean, it really just has been a total change in the way students think about reading. So I would suggest anybody who is thinking, how can I get reluctant readers to enjoy reading? This is definitely a book you need to pick up. It really just kind of gets to the heart at giving students a choice to read and the importance of that. So that's The Book Whisperer. My next book is called Notice and Note, and these are strategies for close reading. And I found this book a couple of years ago, and I've seen a lot of elementary teachers use it in their classroom, but everything is so applicable to my 7th grade students. So I actually start the first few lessons that we do are the Notice and Note strategies, where we go through the strategy. The book gives you excerpts that you can use, or ideas for other books that you can use as well. I use picture books to start off talking with the strategy, and then we go to maybe a longer text or a short story. But it's just really important things that I think really do help kids make those connections when they read. And this is something that I would like to do another video about and talk about the picture books that I use to teach these strategies. But this is Notice and Note, strategies for close reading. And then the last book that I want to talk about came out, I believe it was last summer, 180 Days. So this is Kelly Gallagher and Penny Kittle, who I've read several of their other books and have enjoyed all of them. But this one kind of came at the right time for me, because we have recently changed from using class periods for our English classes to using a block. And this really helped me think about how I can spend my time wisely and the students' time wisely in the classroom, and just setting up the writing portion and the reading portion together and make it work. And I would suggest anybody who's teaching middle school or high school classes, English Language Arts, that this is just, it really is a must read. They have so many great ideas and so many ways of shaping the writing part of the curriculum, and then the reading, the approaches to the literature that you're teaching. It's just so important. So 180 Days, great book. All right, so those are my professional development books that I wanted to share with you. These are not the only books I go to, but these are probably my top favorites as of right now, ones that I know I use different things from them and elements from them in my class every day. I would love to hear from you about your favorite professional development books that you've read. Thank you so much for watching. Talk to you later. Bye.